tomorrow on time, cause sometimes tomorrow don't come. When you're gone and your life is over.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 3.5 years here.
Yeah. What drew you to do this?
It's God.
Yeah.
Just happened. Yeah. I just got out of a 2-year breakup.
Yeah.
And I was all flustered.
Yeah.
And then same time that happened, this happened.
That's where a lot of beauty comes from.
Yeah. Yep. To be brave. Yeah, what's up, world? Happy Good Friday. I got Mr. Stephen Q. Hurley in the house tonight, all the way from Fargo, North Dakota. He made it, folks.
For sure.
How's your day, brother?
Going great.
Ronald, thank you for coming out of your busy schedule. And Adam, thank you for letting him come.
Gotta give a shout out to Adam.
Yeah. Live life like this no more, I don't. Is that your fiance?
No, that's my one of my best friends.
Yeah,
workers.
But you can't.
Congratulations on your
engagement. For sure.
Oh shit. Well, here we go. Let's go. Welcome back to another Friday night Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Ragin' Cajun. It's the weekend, baby. Happy Good Friday. Man, I hope everybody had a great week and a great day. You know, some people had to work all day. Some people had to work half a day. And some people had a paid holiday. But just remember that Good Friday is the day that the Lord was crucified. That's right?
Maybe.
And, yep. So all the people out there not eating meat, we watching you. You know what I mean? But all the people that are just blessed to be alive and another 24 hours sober, shout out to you. And man, it's a great feeling to wake up in your own place, your own bed, got your TV, got your Hulu, and your Netflix, and your Prime, and you got some eggs that you can cook on your own stove. Man, it's a great feeling to be alive, free from the jail cell, addiction, and alcoholism, baby. But I hope everybody has a safe weekend. So tonight's show is being sponsored by a lot of people. So I'm going to start reading off the list whenever you're ready, J Dobo. So tonight's show is being sponsored by J Dobo, your leading spice in the land. If you ain't sneezing, it ain't seasoning, baby. And also, you can get you some of that J Dobo candy that's fresh off the market. It's that spicy dry freeze stuff. So I know you like it. Your kids might like it. Your middle school kids might like it. You can send it to school. But try some of that J Dobo. Also, tonight's show is being sponsored by Bizman Welding, your leading welding masters in the local area. If you need something welded, call Bizman Welding. Also, tonight's show is being sponsored by the Zach Shack, the leading ice house manufacturers in the whole North Dakota, Midwest, East, West, South, anywhere. If you need you an ice house, contact the Zach Shack. Also, tonight's show is being sponsored by Prairie Recovery Center in Raleigh, North Dakota. If you're looking for a bed, call Prairie Recovery Center. Also, tonight's show is being sponsored by Coffee at 321 in the Hub Community Center right here in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you're looking for a fun place to stop in, it's positive, great people, meetings, and they got a beautiful coffee shop in there. Get you a cup of joe. Also, tonight's show is being sponsored by Tied for Second, Sober Living, and New Freedom Center. Beds are available. Just call 701-527-4000. Also, tonight's show is being sponsored by Preferred Heating and Air, your leading heating and air company in the Bismarck-Mandan area. If you're looking to get your furnace fixed, to get a gas line ran or something, call Preferred Heating and Air. Tonight's show is also being sponsored by Exhibit A Tattoo. You can get you a tattoo from Lexi or Chris in Mandan, North Dakota. I mean, they're one of the leading color artists in the whole state. So if you're looking to get you a tattoo, state-of-the-art color, state-of-the-art craftsmanship, contact Exhibit A Tattoo. Also, tonight's show is being sponsored by Reservation Tattoo and Supplies right here in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you're looking for a great black and white artist or a cover-up or any kind of thing, you can go holler at Stranger at Resurrection Tattoo and Supplies. Also, you can buy you some tattoo supplies there. If you're a apprentice tattoo, if you're up-and-coming tattoo artist, contact Resurrection Tattoo and Supplies. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Well, I got some special guests in the house. I got August. Don't hit that table. What you got, dude?
It's a World War II plane.
It's a World War II plane. In August, how long you been sober?
8 years.
8 years, folks. He's been sober 8 years, weekends and holidays included. But I got my man all the way from Fargo, North Dakota, via Standing Rock Community. My man, Stephen Hurley. How you doing, brother?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm feeling that hoodie. You know what I mean?
I've been getting a lot of compliments on it
Yeah,
today.
I feel like it's winking at me.
And to be honest, before I left the house, I was like, man, I don't know. Right? I wasn't going to put it on.
Right.
And then my son was like, Dad, I want you to wear that. So
Right.
I was like, well, if the man knows his stuff, I'm going to wear it.
Yeah, I like that. Also, I forgot, tonight's show is being sponsored by the House of Fade, the leading fades in the land in Mandan, North Dakota, the House of Fade, baby. So, how long have you been sober, saved, and clean?
Since December 7th, 2021.
Congratulations, my brother.
Yep, thank you.
Man.
And it's also my only daughter's birthday.
Okay.
Right, so that's another gift I can give her.
All right. So you've been sober 3 years?
Almost 3 years, yeah.
Okay. And how old is she?
She is 15.
15.
Yep.
Well, congratulations, brother. Well, on behalf of all the sponsors and Sobertalk, this cup was made by Cutie Creations by Acosta. If anybody out there needs a cutie creation, you can contact Cutie Creations by Acosta. But this is for you, my brother. Got all the sponsors. Well, not all of them. The next batch shall have all of them. But thanks to all the sponsors. But you can put cold things during the summer, warm things during the winter, but you just can't put alcohol in there, brother. That's for you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
And on behalf of J Dobo, your leading spice in the land, I got you some samples, and you can put that on popcorn. You can put that on eggs. I mean, you could just eat it out the bag. You know what I mean? You can put it on whatever, steak, meat, fish. But if you want some more of this J Dobo, just go to www.jdobo.com, and he will airmail that to you the next day.
I've been hearing a lot of ruckus about this stuff.
A lot of ruckus about the J Dobo.
I got some now.
And I know you're only here for a short time, but on behalf of Coffee at 321 in the Hub, I got some vouchers. You can get your free drink on Sobertalk.
Okay.
There you go. And all I have right now is from Exhibit A. I have some cards. They're working on some more stuff. And you can have these just in case someone is looking for a real nice tattoo.
All right.
And on behalf of Tied for Second Sober Living, I got you the official t-shirt, my brother. You know what I mean? I get calls all the time about people that can't get a bed. You know what I mean? Well, not just at Tied for Second. I'm talking about in general, in the whole state. And us having the resources in the network of having people in Fargo, having people in Jamestown, having people in Minot, having people in Wofford City, Williston, having people in Bismarck, that we all stay connected, because when you get that call about someone needing help, you got to have resources. If you want to help people, like most of us do, you got to have resources. Because if I don't know somebody, Stephen might know somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Stephen, if someone calls at 10 o'clock at night or messages, and they said that they need help, they can't get a bed or whatever, what do you recommend for them?
That's always a tough question, because you always want to jump up and you want to like do whatever you can for them, right?
Right.
Because you used to be that person. All I could recommend is just trying to give them the best advice, talk them down from whatever they're going through, and just being an ear to listen to, and give them that little bit of hope to get through to the next day.
Right.
And you know, sometimes I feel like my hands are tied, and all I can do is say, "Hey, come into the office tomorrow so we can talk and see what we can get going."
Amen to that. Stephen, where are you originally from?
I'm from Standing Rock, Fort Yates. Grew up around this area, Bismarck.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is where my stomping grounds is.
Okay. The lands of the lost. Now,
one of them.
It's a lot of great things happening, movements happening back home right now. Right. You know what I mean? So how was it growing up on Fort Yates? I mean, what did you have? Mom and dad, or grandma, auntie, sisters, brothers? How was your household, as you remember?
As far as how I can recall it, and this is only my version, and I'm not going to speak on anybody else's version. I'm the oldest out of the 3 siblings I have.
Okay.
And don't know my dad. Grew up in a house full of women.
Okay.
You know, my grandmother, my aunt, my mom.
Yep. We got something in common, brother.
So.
Yep. So, did y'all have any spiritual life that you remember? Any traditional ways? Any church? Anything or nothing?
I went to Catholic school.
Okay.
When I was really young, at this Catholic school there. But I was rebelled against it, man.
Right.
And then I found like some, you know, the Native American stuff, and things kind of happened with that where it kind of shied me away. And that's whenever I found something else that felt greater than what that was.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. How old were you when you first tried drugs and alcohol, Stephen?
I was 7 years old.
7. Okay. And how did it go down?
So, I remember it pretty vividly, right? My mom and her husband at the time, my sister's dad, we're living here in Bismarck. And I remember his friends and them, they were drinking. And 90s were a different time, man. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how it happened, but they're like, "Hey, come up here," and they gave me some drinks or whatever they were drinking. I think it was Budweisers and Zimas. I don't know.
Yeah, not the Zimas.
Yeah, the Zimas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I remember I drank that, and then I went back for another round with them. Right? It was just little sips, but enough to get me a little bit tipsy, and I didn't know what it was. But I went upstairs, used the bathroom, slipped, hit my eye off the toilet. That's how I was found out that I obviously got drunk.
Did you have to get stitches?
No, I just had a good shiner on my eye.
Okay.
So.
Any sports?
Football.
Football?
Yeah. Boxing.
Okay. How old were you when you got into that?
Probably about my, say middle school, so 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade.
Okay. Well, that was a good time to do it, because that's usually when people start drinking and drugging.
Yeah. And I picked the drinking and drugging over the sports.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And did you graduate high school?
No.
Okay. Any trouble with the law in your teenage years?
When I lived back home on the reservation, no.
Okay.
I was just like a real rebellious kid, though.
Okay.
And it got to the point where, you know, when the law did show up, we'd all take off running. So I don't think I had any close encounters with them.
Yep.
But after I moved to Bismarck, that's whenever it was kind of like, oh, this is real. You know,
Right.
You got to be a little bit smarter than it is back home.
Right.
Yeah. So,
How old were you when you first got arrested?
very first time,
Yeah.
probably about 17.
Okay, what happened?
Me and my buddies were out at the desert drinking
Okay.
and having a good time, just being teenagers. And the cops rolled up, and we had been drinking. These girls we were with took off running, so they pretty much put us on the spot. And they threw me and my buddies in the car, and they took us to the Burleigh County Sheriff's Department over here, and had one of my buddy's aunts come get us. And that was my very first time sitting in the fishbowl over there.
When that happened, did they offer you like any kind of treatment or anything?
No. They were just like, oh, you got some crazy kids just out here partying, but we have to do something because you guys shouldn't be drinking.
Okay. What about when you turned into your 20s?
I already did prison time
Okay. When did you first go to prison?
when I was 19 years old.
Okay. What happened?
I was selling weed.
Okay.
My
Big
kid-
man on campus?
something like that. But yeah, it was just like a thing, right? I had a full-time job. I had found out my kid's mom was pregnant with my son, and I got introduced to this person, right? And I became close friends with them, and they became the person I got my weed from.
Mhm.
So I just started getting it more and more and more.
Right. Trying to take over the world.
That's what it felt like. That was the goal. Didn't realize it at the time. And I can't say that I was the biggest weed dealer at 18, but I had a fair share.
Right.
But it got to the point where this guy that I went to high school with, he wore a wire on me 2 times, and he set us up. He set a bunch of us up
Behind some weed?
buying weed, and we were in the newspaper for it. And then a bunch of my friends and him, they were all in this last reverse sting buy operation called Operation Buyback.
Okay.
And they specifically were targeting the movers and sellers at 18 to 20.
Okay.
And back in 2008, I don't know, weed was a big deal around here.
Man.
So
They will wire you on you behind some trees?
Yep. And because he got in trouble with a little bit of coke, and he decided to do whatever he did, and put everybody behind bars for it.
Have you ever seen him again?
No, he passed away.
Okay. Yep, that tends to happen sometimes.
Yeah.
So they got you.
They got me, and I got arrested for 7 felonies.
And you went straight to the big house.
Luckily I did, but I had a good lawyer.
Okay. Excuse me.
But I was facing 86 years max.
Okay. And how long did you do in the big house?
I did 3 years the first time.
Flat?
No, I got sentenced to the 3 years, and then I went about halfway through that, and I went to treatment
At the max?
at JRCC
Okay.
in Jamestown.
Okay.
And then I went to treatment, got out, went to the BTC, and that didn't last too long, or me doing too good, because me and some other people ended up selling some other stuff, got that place raided, got revocated, and it was just in that vicious cycle of back and forth.
Right. Have you ever overdosed?
No.
Okay.
Drank, yeah, I had alcohol poisoning, yes.
Okay. Have you ever seen anybody overdose or anybody die from drugs or alcohol?
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody die in front of me like that, but I've seen a couple overdoses, and that was good enough for me.
Right. I always say, if you wanna scare some kids straight in middle school, take them a true addict in there and let them OD in front of the whole school, and then Narcan them and bring them back.
And then be mad because you did it.
Yeah, but let them see that. You know what I mean? Let them see the scariness of it. But they say I can't think like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. They handed out doves for weed. That's crazy. That's Teresa.
Yep. No, she knows.
How many treatments have you been to?
I've been to Tompkins twice. I've been to the one up in Rugby, whenever it was still a thing. I've been to the one up in Belcourt, the 5th generation. And I've also been to, I think, about a handful of them.
Okay.
Anyways.
And up until this time that you got sober on your daughter's birthday, how was your life in between? Did you go to prison a bunch of times?
Yeah, that was my revolving door for all my 20s.
Okay.
Right? But, you know, I was priding myself because I was like, after I got my first felonies, I never caught another felony for almost 10 years.
Right.
Right? A bunch of misdemeanors, all that stuff. But
Right.
I stayed under the radar because the judge told me, he's like, if you ever come back in my courtroom, he said, you're getting booked.
Right.
Right? But, so anyways, my life was just chaos. I lived in the chaos, and I loved the chaos, and that's all I knew.
Right.
So, you know, just relying on all my survival instincts.
Have you ever left North Dakota?
No.
No?
No.
So you kind of was just stuck in your own environment.
Yeah.
And just...
I was very much a product of my environment.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you left North Dakota yet?
Yeah, no, I've been around.
Yeah.
I've been in Minnesota, I've been in Georgia, I've been places.
Right.
But like as far as like lived and experienced other things like that outside of North Dakota, no.
Okay. How many years in prison did you think altogether that you've done?
A decade.
10 years.
Yep.
10 years. And each time, did you just, anytime you were in there, did you think about like, when I get out, I'm going to change?
Oh yeah.
And what happened?
Went right back to it.
Right.
Because I was powerless to my addiction.
Right.
I didn't realize that was that cunning and baffling.
Right.
And it had that hold on to me. It just allowed me to think that I was going to be like that, just to get me out to where I needed to be.
Right.
In order for it to feed on whatever energy it had.
And what first, usually like when you get out and you had that intention of staying sober, what first is the first thing that you usually go to? Alcohol?
No, just like within like the last 5 years, it would have been straight back to the meth.
Okay.
Because that was my DOC for a good while.
How old were you first start trying meth?
22.
22.
Out in Dickinson.
Okay. And did you snort it, smoke it, or you just
smoked it
straight?
Yep.
Okay. And what happened?
I was really against it. I always used to hate meth users because I grew up around that meth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I hated it because it took away everybody that I cared about.
Right.
But I didn't get what it was really about, right? But after I first tried it, I went on the run, and then I was like in this cycle with my buddies, and that's what was available, so that's what we did.
Right.
It was just like a really like paranoid time for me because I was on the run doing all that stuff.
Yep. Yep.
So and then I backed away from it for a while again.
Okay. So right now, how many felonies do you have? Well, I mean, in the past.
In the past,
I mean, on your record, like
on my record, if I can count them off, I have aggravated assault, which put me in prison this last time. Probably drug paraphernalia, possession of meth, and then misdemeanors, obviously. And then to go back to what put me in prison, the first time, delivery within 1,000 feet of a school, 2 counts of delivery, you know.
Right.
So probably a handful.
Handfuls. Yeah. So you got at least F5. You know, you at least got 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's nothing to be proud of.
Nope.
But as you can see, no matter how many felonies you got or how much bad stuff you done did in this world, you can always change your life around.
Right.
And you can see that. Look how this man shine. He got all his teeth and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you look back at the chaos years and all that, what are some things that kind of, like now that you're sober for so long? Because I do that sometimes. I think back like, damn, I was crazy. You know what I mean? Like, what are some times that like stuck out to you that was kind of like, they still kind of maybe affect you a little bit, but you still think about them sometimes? Like in the past, like some of the darkest points.
So some of the darkest points, if I could really be transparent about it, back in 2017, my oldest kid's mother, one of my best friends, my first love, all that stuff that I went through all this stuff initially with in high school.
Yep.
She got murdered out in Williston, and she was so badly decomposed they had to identify her by her teeth, right?
So your kid's mom?
My kid's mom.
Yep.
And like that spun me into one of my darkest like years of my life. And then my other sister, she is my aunt. She's 2 weeks and 2 days younger than me. We grew up together. She passed away from alcohol. right? And I was in jail. I got a furlough, and they were like, "Yeah, you can go see." I had to go back, and then in my mind, I was like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna, like you said, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna change. Everything's gonna be different, right? No, hurt people. So I got out, and in that period of time, I was trying to create so much pain and damage that I possibly could, and I look back on that, and I'm surprised I survived it. And I still haven't dealt with all that trauma yet.
Right.
I have a lot of survivor's guilt from that stuff.
Right.
Sometimes I get this imposter syndrome as like I sit here today, you know. But that's just things I gotta face, right? That's things I gotta look at myself in the mirror, take responsibility, and clean my side of the street. Yep.
And it's always good to write it down too.
Right. Because if you write it down, it's real.
Yep. I try all types of stuff, brother. I done went to therapy. I mean, I go to sweat. You know what I mean? Any of those years, did you ever try? Any of those years, did you ever try sweat? Or did you ever in prison or out of prison? Or did you ever try prayer? Or you just kind of was like disconnected?
So no, I did. I always had a belief in there was something bigger than me, right? Even in my dark days, when I'd be walking, I'd be praying. Because I would always ask, and I didn't know it was already, these were like preemptive strikes into my life to plant me to where I'm at today.
Right.
Because, you know, sometimes I'd go sit outside of church whenever I'd be all by myself, right? But I tried sweat. I did all these things because that's just part of who I am and where I come from, right? I tried church, and to be honest, this is one of the first places I came to, this church. Celebrate recovery
on Friday nights.
Yeah, with my aunt when I was in some of my stuff, and so it's pretty cool to be back here. So I would always try to like step foot into like an NA meeting or a AA meeting or whatever it was. But the sweats I would try in prison, you know, shy away from that just because I was fearful because I didn't, you know, I'm like, I'm Native, I should know all this stuff, but I don't. But it's not my fault because I didn't have nobody show me.
Right. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Well, that's. How about now that you're sober?
Now that I'm sober, what do I do? So the beauty of when I went to Fargo for a geographical change, because I knew I needed something different, I couldn't come back here. It reminded me of that movie Book of Eli. Like he's heading in this direction, right?
Yeah.
I just knew everything good that's came in my life, I went east. But thank God I had a care coordinator that was deeply rooted into the culture and introduced me to all these people. So I go to sweat. You know, I go to, you know, different ceremonies. I'm preparing for ceremonies this summer. I'm going to go out on the hill.
You going to dance?
Yeah, I'm gonna dance out in Idaho.
Oh, in Idaho.
In July.
Okay.
I'm a
You talking about the hill in Fort Yates?
No.
Or you talking about in Idaho?
No, I'm going to go out on the hill with one of our spiritual leaders in May.
Okay.
And that's going to be 4 days, 4 nights.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be sundancing out in Idaho.
Okay.
So I'm preparing for all that stuff.
All right.
And I don't know how much I should say about it, but like it's not a big secret. But I'm not trying to sit out here and be like, this is me and show off, because that's not what it is.
Well, I'm a big history guy. You know what I mean? I'm all about history. And when I first got to North Dakota, and I would started meeting Native people. You know what I mean? And I started having questions. You know what I mean? But at the first 2 years, I'm in the trap though, and I'm like, man, y'all don't be doing. You don't know. He's like, man, I ain't worried about that. You won't buy it or not. You know what I mean? And so I always ask people, because now I'm into it as well. You know what I mean? I got a lot of brothers and sisters that I'm very close to from all kind of different tribes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I like to ask people that in their sobriety, because in sobriety is when you really can connect back to your roots. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know what I'm saying?
And that's what I've been doing. That's a big part. My culture's been helping me cultivate who I am today.
Amen to that. So, what led you up to your first day of sobriety? This
last time?
Yeah.
I was in prison. I went to prison in 2020.
Okay, for assault?
For assault.
Okay.
Right?
Well, how did that go down?
So I was on a warpath. I just didn't care about anything. Right. It was COVID.
Right.
A bunch of crazy stuff. I should have been staying inside. I wasn't.
Right.
And just so happened I went to Mandan, trailer park. This guy stopped me, said I was driving too fast. Said there's kids out. I said, he called me whatever word he called me. I said, okay. So I headed out, locked up my car, came back down, and me and him got into this argument. And I knew it wasn't gonna be good, so I turned around and I started walking, and he followed me. And I told him, I said, get away from me, back up, because somebody had just got stabbed and killed a week prior to that, right? In the same area, right? So he turned, and as I turned to walk away again, he comes up behind me. I hit him. He hit his head. He was knocked out, hit his head. That's how it was, because he went unconscious, hit his head. Aggravated assault. They gave me 3 years.
Okay.
And I took it, no paper. And this time I was just like, I'm not going to get out. I don't want to get out, because I know that every other time it was just for my own pleasure. And I need to really sit myself down and learn a lesson.
Okay.
But I continued to do all this stuff. I continued to drink. I got a scar on the side of my head right here because I drank in there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I didn't have the intentions to.
Right.
But I continued to do those addict behaviors.
Right.
And did the spice and all that stuff. But in October of 2021, my only daughter, I've been absent out of their life for a long time. And their mom passed away, whatever. And she sent me a letter, and she told me about her day. Right? She took her time, made her own lines, and just explained her day. And she's like, you don't have to understand. She's like, but I just want you to know that, this is what's going on with me.
Who? Your daughter?
My daughter.
Okay.
Right? So, right there, it clicked. I was like, oh, man. She's old enough to realize right now. Right. She's coming to me. Right. She don't have to, but she wants to. Something in her wants me to be there for her. So I had to make this conscious choice of and I'll say this because when I share this in meetings, or I share this in other stories that I've talked, it's like the movie, right? You're sitting in your cell and you got the left door and the right door that opens up. That's all I could think about what it looked like. I had this right door of the unknown, right? That's changed that. What am I going to get? It's scary. Versus the left door, I already know what I'm going to get. I know exactly what I'm going to get myself into and where I'm going to go if I go that way. And I packed everything up, threw everything in that door, shut that left door, and went through the right. And I told my buddies when I was in prison, I was like, look, man, I need to do something different. I need to do all this. And I got a real good response, surprising response. And they're like, all right, man, well, then keep your ass out on the other side. And be a man of your word. Right? So I started doing those things in there. Okay. And that was the last time I drank, was December 7th, 2021.
Amen to that. When you got out, had you already met Adam?
No.
Or heard of him?
I had been on F5 at that point when I was living out here, when they first had an office out here. And someone popped up on me. They're like, hey, I'm your peer support and da-da-da-da-da. Right. I'm here for you. And I had been hearing, I think Joe Johnson, my Aunt Margot's friend, had came in and spoke at F5.
Janner.
Yeah, Janner. He came in with the tattoo on the side of his head. Yeah, he came in and he spoke, right? Right. The F5 meeting, all that. And this is a crazy part, too. We'll get to that after a bit. But didn't know anything about it other than that, right? But when I was in prison, F5 had this job fair. And I was like, well, I'm going to get out, right? And I started doing these things to prepare myself. Okay. I went to that job fair and one of the jobs was like, hey, if you come out to Fargo, we want you to work for us when you get out. Okay. So I had employment. I already had employment when I got out. I just had to get there. And so when I got out there, F5 blessed me with letting these people come in, and that's where my journey began with all that.
Amen to that. So when you got out, did you go to a halfway house?
Yeah, I went to Center.
And here in Bismarck?
No, in Fargo.
In Fargo? And how long were you there?
I was there I had 5 months parole left. I got out February 24th of 2022. And and I was there. And I was there up until probably about April. And they said, Stephen, you got to leave.
Okay.
because you're doing good.
Uh-huh.
And there's other places, there's other people that need space.
Okay.
And
it was just like out the blue one day?
Yeah, I already had been there, and I've been working 2 jobs, sticking to myself, never had any write-ups, never, you know what I mean? Like, pretty much the model, like,
right.
person there.
Right.
And, what happened? Anyways, I had July 22nd was my max date for my parole. Like, my stuff was done, so I only had 5 months when I got out, because I sat all that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went then transitioned to the F5 house.
In Fargo?
Yes.
Okay, with Adam?
Yep.
That's when you met Adam?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, not yet.
So how was it going from the halfway house to the F5 house in Fargo?
It was a smooth transition.
Okay.
Right? It was, because I had started establishing myself within my 12-step program and the people in the foundation out there.
Okay.
And start meeting people, but because I used to be that guy that sit in the back of the meetings and like just take whatever I want.
Right.
But yeah, it was a smooth transition.
Right.
Yeah.
And how long were you there?
A month.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then one of my buddies said that there was a place opening up at this place called Finding Normal in Fargo, and that's kind of like the hood.
Right.
Over there, a lot of crazy stuff's going on over there, but it's like they're running background as long as you're not a SO, you're not, you know, whatever. They asked me what my deal was, and within a couple weeks, I gave them the money. I moved in, and I lived there for like a year.
Okay. Stayed sober.
Stayed clean, all that.
Okay. And how did you become an employee of F5?
So after I quit the case job, and I had the opportunity to get a peer support job at the Ridge. I was hearing things about this Akishni program.
What is that?
This is the intergenerational trauma Native American cultural-based program that they just implemented in Jamestown up on the 6th floor. Okay. We have 5 guys. The 5 cohorts to start. This is the first of its kind in North Dakota. Okay. Right? It's adopted from the Alaskan natives in Alaska.
What's the name of it again?
Akishni means healing.
Okay. That's my son.
Oh, okay.
Akishni.
It's a Lakota word.
Okay. Yeah. And that's just helping with past trauma in Native American families?
Well, Native American men, and we're using the culture. Okay. To get back to the roots and dig into these traumatic events, because that's where everything started, right? Right. Everyone wants to work on the surface stuff. We're trying to get into the root.
It's an inside job.
Inside job using Native American culture. Okay. Right.
And have you been going to some classes for that, or how's it been going?
It's been going good. It just started. This is, I think, our 2nd full week that it started. I've done some elite training for that, to like help facilitate and run like these sharing circles. Okay. And then in April, I'm going up to Alaska. Okay. For a week for some more training. All right. To like actually sit in and feel like what it's like to like pick a very traumatic event in your life and talk about it and get through it. And okay. But yeah, so yeah, it's a good thing. It's a blessed thing, to be honest.
It is. Amen to that. So what are your, what are your job titles for F5? And how good of a relationship do you and Adam have, and how did it start, and then how is it now?
So I'm a peer support specialist for the Ridge.
Okay.
And then I'm a tribal and community liaison for F5.
Okay.
Right. And as far as like relationships with Adam, him and I, we're pretty close. Okay. And I can always rely on him and reach out to him, and I have reached out to him in hard times and needing like this older brother. Been there, done that, and can rely on some like good advice, and he's gonna be upfront and honest about it. Right. So I keep him in my pocket when I need that. Okay. So you're a full-time employee? I'm part-time for F5, and then I'm full-time with the Ridge.
Okay, tell everybody out there listening what the Ridge is.
The Ridge is...
where is it at?
It's in Fargo.
Okay.
And they're pretty much the sister company of Midwest Mental Health and F5. Okay. Right? So the Midwest Mental Health is stationed in F5, so that we have a walk-in clinic and we have med management, and we can do CD evals. And, you know, so Monday through Thursday, 9 to 1, people can come in, see providers, you know, get their meds, talk to people if they need a therapist, if they need...
Just anybody off the street?
Anybody off the street. And so it's stationed in F5, so there's always... And everybody knows F5, so it's always like everybody's coming in, get coffee, whatever.
Right.
So it's a hub for just people trying to just be okay. And so it's open arms, and we just try to meet people where they're at.
Okay, and what is the Ridge?
And the Ridge is the treatment side of things, the clinical side.
Okay.
Right? So we have the intensive outpatient treatment. That's 3 days a week. There's 2 groups, one in the afternoon, one in the evening.
Okay.
And then we have DBT, dialectical behavior therapy. We have relapse prevention, and we have domestic violence classes there.
Okay, amen to that. For someone to get into F5, do they have to just be getting out of prison?
No.
Okay.
No, they don't.
Okay. And where is F5 houses located now? Where are all the cities that F5 is in now?
As far, they just opened up a lot.
I know.
Jamestown, Minot, Williston, Dickinson, Grand Forks, all that stuff. I can't really speak on how the housing is for the people outside of Fargo, but I know that Fargo itself had just got a couple new buildings, and then they just opened up a female house, camp sanctuary. Okay. So for females.
Okay.
And we're broadening and we're expanding, and we're just trying to do as much as we can because we know the need for it.
What other places are available for people in Fargo, like sober houses or treatment centers that's also available outside of your guys' stuff?
Okay. I know there's New Life Center. I know that there's the Deck. I think the Engagement Center, it's also called. Share House also has a place for intensive outpatient treatment.
Does Fargo have a detox center?
Yeah, Minnesota does.
Minnesota?
Yes,
Where at?
Moorhead.
Moorhead.
Yeah.
So if somebody just shows up there, they can detox there, or they got to get an appointment?
No, they can show up because I know, speaking from experience, I've taken people there like that.
Okay, so there's a 24-hour detox?
No, I think there's people that have stayed there for over the whole weekend. Okay.
Yeah. And so I know I'm saying it's open, or you got to go during.
Right. I've only taken them in the morning, in the afternoon, morning, late in the evening, but they've been there open. And
they can stay there until they all the way detox?
Yep.
Okay. Because I get that call a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? About I got this person, they need help. Can anywhere that we can send them the detox. And so Moorhead is a place. Yes. Okay? So out there, everybody listening, if you need a detox place for somebody, there's one in Moorhead. I know it's a drive from Bismarck or wherever you're at, but there is a place. So basically anybody can reach out to you or F5 or F5 affiliates, and if they're looking for a place, because a lot of times right now, a lot of places have waiting lists.
Right.
And some people, it's a life or death situation.
Yep.
So we like to try to resource ourselves to find out all the places that there is beds available. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I'll be definitely reaching out to you sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's good to have different resources. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever been married?
No.
I heard through the grapevine you just got engaged.
Right.
Okay. What made you do that?
It's been that's a crazy topic, but it's a good topic. My fiance Tori, I met her in the rooms of NA.
Okay.
A lot of people say you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
But I met her and we were friends before that, and she's always been there, and she's always allowed me to be who I am to the fullest capacity and non-judgmental. And we're both going through hard times, and we just remained friends through all this, and it organically developed into something more.
Right.
And that's what the beauty in it is, right? It wasn't, nothing was forced. It was all happened on its own. And so as I walked through my own journey, she was walking through her own journey. She's a nurse. She's going to school, all that stuff. And I got my kids back, and she stayed with me, and she always wanted boys, and she got her boys. And then
How many kids do you have?
I have 6 kids altogether.
Okay, you was a rolling stone, huh? Well, you got all your kids?
Nope, I just have the youngest 2.
Okay. Well, that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
Did you ever think you would get them back?
No. But the thing is, like, I didn't realize that all the things that I was doing were gearing me up to get my kids back.
Right. Say that one more time to the people out there listening.
What's that? What part?
That all the stuff you were doing through the years of this past 3 years of sobriety, that you were gearing up.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I didn't realize all this stuff of me being alone, me getting a house, or not a house, but an apartment, working a really grueling job, 60 hours a week, 6 days a week, just day in, day out, grinding, recovery, still maintaining my recovery at that, right? Doing sponsor work, doing all those things. And when this court date came up, I knew it was that, like, I knew it, right? Because there was people watching from afar that I didn't think were watching.
Right.
They're like, we know you have a place, we know you have employment, you're doing all these things, and we hope that if things go your way, would you take your boys this weekend? I was like, this weekend?
Yeah.
Do you think you're ready? I said, I don't think anybody writes a book on when being ready is.
Right.
I said, but let's get it. And that weekend, I was throwing car seats in the back of my car, and here they are today.
Right. Amen to that, brother. That's kind of what happened to me.
Yeah.
That's why the promises of sobriety, because if you keep doing the next right thing, and Creator, God knows where your heart's at, them blessings gonna come, and you got to be ready. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the week that I made 18 months sober, I got a call out the blue to come get my son. Yep. And I was running red lights. And once I had him, I didn't know what to do with it. Right. You know what I mean? But it's OJT, on the job training, folks.
Yeah, for sure.
You can read books and get some ideas, but most of the stuff is on the job training. Yeah. So you just got to be sober, and you got to show up. You know what I mean? Yep. So, because all that stuff you prayed for, it's going to come. But it might not come right when you pray for it. When you think it could be a year, it could be a day, it could be a month, it could be 5 years. But when it comes, you got to catch it. You got to be ready to catch it. Like a Hail Mary pass. You know what I mean? Yep. So I got a couple questions for you. Yep. What's your favorite color?
Teal.
Teal. Yep. I like a man that likes teal. You know what I mean? If you had one last meal and you was on death row, and they said, what would you like on your last meal, brother? It could be anything. What would it be?
Oh, man.
Your favorite dish?
It had to be anything with my grandma's fried bread, man.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yep, ain't nothing like good old grandma's cooking. You know what I mean? Amen to that. If you could go anywhere in the whole world on a trip that you've dreamed, visioned, seen pictures of, could be your honeymoon, whatever, where would it be?
Ireland.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Because that's where the other half of me is.
Okay.
That's where my roots come from on my other side of my family.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Ireland. I've never been to Ireland, but I've been to Scotland.
Yeah. And
I lived in England in the military.
Okay.
So, but you can definitely make that happen, brother. You know what I mean? So, everybody out there listening, that man wants to go to Ireland and see some green stuff.
Give me a trip.
Yeah. If you could go back to the old Stephen, in a dream, and you could whisper in your ear, I'm talking about while you're on the run, you're in the chaos, you're doing all this crazy stuff, whatever, what would you tell your old self?
Weather the storm, man.
Yeah.
Weather the storm.
If anybody out there listening that has felonies, that still thinks that they can't get a job, they can't find a place to live, their life is over, all they can do is work at Burger King or McDonald's.
Did that.
What advice do you have to anyone that's either fresh out of prison, in prison still, or just got a bunch of felonies and stuff on their record, and they think that's what's holding them back in life.
Keep grinding. Don't be too proud. You gotta just do what you gotta do, man. And by any means necessary, man. It doesn't matter if you're flipping burgers or if you're scrubbing toilets.
Right. All right. Amen to that. I'm doing a show right now, dude. You just need to chill out. Okay.
On the job training.
Yeah, on the job training. Any big plans for the Easter weekend?
Not really. Get back. Go see my sister who's sick.
Okay.
Make sure she's okay.
All right.
Probably just a chill weekend, man. I didn't really. I forgot it was Easter weekend this weekend.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, it's a 4-day weekend for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you made it. Was the weather bad?
No, it was good.
Well, God came through for us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, any funny secrets that you can tell us about Adam Martin? Any funny situations? Something that is funny that, I mean, it could be anything. Can he dance?
I don't think.
Did he dance at the
think,
banquet?
No, he don't dance, man. He's pretty funny. He's a pretty funny guy. And you know, he has this like wolf pack that he talks about, because I think it's a, I don't know if I should say his name, a poopy pants happy wolf.
Okay.
It's his little pet name.
Uh-huh.
But it's a good, it comes from a good place, and he's just a good guy, man. He's always down for a laugh.
Go upstairs.
And I don't know, there's some days whenever we do see each other that we just kind of get like this, like that side smile smirk, like, what's up, man?
Yeah.
What's going on? And that's it. I don't know. He's just a good guy.
Has Adam ever been to a powwow?
I can't say that he has, but he's always willing. He's always willing to support.
Right.
Because, you know.
Or a sweat.
I wish he would.
All right.
Because he's white, but he's not white.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that don't really
spicy,
matter.
though.
Yeah. That don't mean nothing. So, Adam, if you're out there listening, or you listen to this at some point, we want to see footage of you going to a sweat lodge. You know what I mean? Yeah. With Stephen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bring him in there and then interview him after and ask him how he feels.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You got any shout outs that you want to give your people out there?
I want to give a shout out to Mount Margot.
Margot!
I don't know if she's on live, and because she went to ceremony tonight, and I almost wanted to go with her, but I had this, so this is where I was supposed to be. And all my Fargo crew, my boss Jackie, and you know, my best friend Amber, my fiance Tori, one of my best friends Brendan, like everybody out there in Fargo, the F5 team, the Ridge team, you know, keep doing what you're doing. You know, I love you guys. Thanks for being a part of my journey and allowing me to be me, my sponsor.
Yeah.
You know,
shout out to the sponsors.
Yeah, because he says he doesn't do much, but he does more than he thinks. But yeah, and my family, man, my little boys out there. I know they're not watching, but I love them. My family, they're mean more to me than anything. And all my friends out here in Bismarck that are trying to make a wave out here and making this clean thing, the sober thing, the cool and right thing to do. And to you for continuing to do what you do.
Yeah,
give that platform.
Yeah, I thank you for coming, my brother. So I got one last question for you. If anybody out there is listening right now, they in Fort Yates, they from Fort Yates, they in the halfway house, they thinking about getting sober. I mean, they're in a hotel on the run right now. You know what I mean? Watching this on their phone. If you had any words of wisdom to them right now, what would you say?
Show up for yourself. It's not as scary as it is that you think it is, and just keep putting them one foot in front of the next.
Amen to that. Well, I got my man Steph Hurley with almost 3 years of sobriety, representing the Ridge Treatment Center in Fargo, North Dakota, representing F5. And what's your title again at F5?
I'm the Tribal and Community Liaison.
He's the Tribal and Community Liaisons for F5, for just in Fargo, the whole thing?
Just for the Fargo, that program, yeah.
Okay. And he's also a coordinator, peer support?
Peer support.
Peer support. Well, amen to that. Well, I want to congratulate you, brother. You know what I mean? If you could turn your life around, anybody can turn their life around.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
And that's what it's all about.
Yep. And I'm proud of you, brother. And you keep doing the next right thing. If anybody's in the Fargo area and they're looking for advice, they're looking for help, or they know somebody that's looking for help, you can reach out to F5, The Ridge, Stephen Hurley, Adam Martin. Great things going on. Or you can reach out to my show page and I can point you in the right direction. But I hope you have a happy Easter weekend, brother, and just a happy rest of the weekend. You know what I mean?
You too.
I want to thank you for coming, and I sure appreciate you come and share your testimony and your story, brother. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Ragin' Cajun, baby. Man, it's Good Friday. I know all my people back home in Louisiana and New Orleans is eating some good boiled crawfish. That's what we do Easter weekend. You know what I mean? We eat crawfish, baby. But I hope everybody can stay sober through the weekend. If you can't, catch an Uber. Think about the other people. They might be driving with their kids in the car or something. All the kids out there and all the parents out there, don't let your kids eat too much candy because you're just going to have to pay to get their teeth fixed. But I want to thank everybody to all the sponsors, man. Also, I want to give a special shout out to my man Malachi and Stones of Sobriety. He'll make you a nice necklace, and he'll donate half the money to sobriety. It's a great thing. And tune in next week. We have another lovely guest, and I hope everybody has a safe Easter weekend. In the words of my great grand sponsor, if nobody told you yet, we love you, baby. Peace and chicken grease. Peace out, folks.
Yeah.
We love you.